You know, if you were listening to the news over the last day or two, you would think that in Washington, D.C. right now, there was a massive fight going on as to whether or not the president's amnesty program should or should not be instituted. You would believe, or would be led to believe by those in the media, that this was a principled argument on both sides. The president and the Democrats, of course, wanting to see all of these folks who are living in the shadows brought out into the light of day so that they can live as free men and women and children without the constant fear of the police state coming to rope them up and take them back to Mexico. And then, of course, on the Republican side, on the right side of the aisle, you would have a group of people who believe that this is akin to amnesty and that this shouldn't be allowed to happen and that they should have to go to the back of the line and that they committed a crime and these evil criminals should be taken back to Mexico to wait their turn to come here legally. If you believe that, you are wrong. But I want to show you exactly what this is about because you had Lindsey Graham. God, I really despise Lindsey Graham. I really do. There are very few people, like Maxine Waters is one of those people. Maxine Waters, I despise her. I think she's an unintelligent human being. I think she's a radical socialist who, by her own admission, wants to nationalize things like the oil industry. I think she's incredibly stupid. Like, not stupid in the sense that we disagree, but stupid in the sense that she's a person of low intelligence. But there's very few people in Washington that I have that kind of vitriol for, and she's one of them. Another one is this guy, Lindsey Graham. Lindsey Graham is an absolute shill. He's a spineless coward. And I want to play for you what he said. He was on the morning show on Fox News, and he's talking about this issue of immigration and whether or not we should fight this thing. And what's important for you to understand is, actually, let's just play it, and then we'll go from there. So play the clip.
America. I think our country is under great threat.
Turn it
There
up.
are more terrorist organizations with more safe havens, with more capability to attack the homeland than any time since 9/11, so not a good idea to shut down the Department of Homeland Security.
But you know it's in response to the president's executive order,
Exactly.
and a lot of conservatives say, stand your ground like Ted Cruz and company, and deny the president the funding unless there's going to be some amendments to that.
Bad strategy.
Bad strategy.
The president's executive order clearly to me is unconstitutional, but the courts will decide that. Get behind the court action. The Texas district court judge ruled it unconstitutional.
Right.
Let's put all of our energy in supporting the court case. And for God's sakes, don't shut down the premier Homeland Security defense line called the Department of Homeland Security. If we do, as Republicans, we'll get blamed.
We're going to get some more.
We will get blamed. All right. He admits. What makes me so angry is the man admits that it is unconstitutional. He says, I think it's unconstitutional. I think the President of the United States has seized power in a way that he is not authorized to do under the Constitution. And surely, being in Congress for as long as Lindsey Graham has been there, he understands the separation of powers. That it is his responsibility to be a check on power, executive and judicial power specifically. And that it is his responsibility, if he believes that the president is acting in an unconstitutional manner, to step up to the plate and do something about it. But he says, no, that's a bad strategy. We got a lot of dangerous people out there, so we can't get rid of the premier Homeland Security Division. I love the way he says premier. You know, people's memories are so short. The Department of Homeland Security was founded in 2002. Before that, it was just a collection of independent agencies. And they bundled them all up. They put them all. You should see the list of agencies. U.S. Customs, Immigration and Naturalization, Federal Protective Service, I don't know what that is, TSA, FLETC, which is a Federal Law Enforcement Training Center, Animal and Plant Health Inspection, Office of Domestic Preparedness, whatever that is, FEMA. There's like a whole list of them. I just wrote down a few of them. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, holy smokes, I can't imagine what would happen if we couldn't fund the TSA. How would we ever get around? How would anyone feel safe flying on an airplane without the TSA there to do cavity searches?
And we know how effective FEMA is.
Oh, absolutely.
Katrina.
After Katrina and pretty much everything that
It's
they
a
do.
premier organization,
It is a
right?
premier security organization. What would we do without FEMA? And people forget, guys, the TSA wasn't even around before September 11th. The TSA has been abysmal at providing any kind of real security. They've had multiple attempts on planes. The only reason they've been unsuccessful is because of the stupidity of those engaged in the attack. The things that have had the most effect are things that pilots have instituted and the airlines have instituted themselves. Locking the doors, carrying weapons with them. It's amazing. Pilots now carry weapons and they lock the doors. Who'd have thought that might be a good idea? These things have had a direct effect on people not being able to get up to the captain and to hijack planes again. But the TSA has done a terrible job. The idea that this is some sort of premier institution that needs to be protected because if we don't, everything's going to go to pot, to hell in a handbasket, and nobody's going to be able to protect ourselves. We're going to be without the protection of the state is ludicrous. But what really bothers me, what really gets my goat, is he says, quote, I believe that it's unconstitutional. And he said, the courts have ruled it unconstitutional and we need to put all of our energy into supporting the court case. Let me translate that for you. Translation to put all of our energy into supporting the court case is pay lip service and voice our outrage at Obama without actually doing anything. He's saying, I don't think that I should be the check. I don't think that I should do anything. I shouldn't stand up. Why? Because we're going to get blamed. Because if I stand up and act as a check against executive power, people are going to look at that and they're going to blame me for shutting down the government. And that could affect my reelection chances. And so I don't want to do that. What we should do is we should just let the courts handle it. Let's just let it go to the courts. Let's just pass this thing, let Obama do what he wants, and then every time there's a court case, let's say, yeah, we stand for that. Yeah, you get them. These are the people that when there's a war on, Lindsey Graham being one of them, is the one who stands in the background while other people are getting shot at, saying, go guys, do it, you do it, I support you. Whatever you guys need. It's ridiculous. His job is to stand up to this stuff, whether you agree with it or not. This is my point. Whether you agree that Obama should legalize and nationalize all these folks or not is irrelevant to the fact that the branch of Congress has a responsibility to check executive power. And it's failure to do that. And Lindsey Graham expressly says that the reason that he doesn't want to do it is because it can hurt his election chances. Because we're going to get blamed. Yes.
In the Republican Party.
And the Republican Party.
Yeah.
Guys, this fight, all of this that you're seeing that's going on, all the news and spin, all the flapping lips from every single one of those nobody bureaucrats up on Capitol Hill who's talking about how they need to take a stand and how it's got nothing to do with immigration. It's got nothing to do with protecting the American people. It has everything to do with protecting their own political power.